Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com. I've had quite a few experiences recently with copyright claims on my videos, and I know any of you who've had YouTube channels that deal with music have had similar experiences. In case you didn't know what that is, when I use musical samples, I get permission from the owner of the copyright, and I use sample in question. However, YouTube is full of both original and third-party content police who crawl through the videos with their fabulous computer algorithm to determine if the sample that I'm using is copyrighted material. And if it is, they make a claim for it because my videos are monetized. I make, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 cents a video or something like that. And the copyright owners demand that they get their share of the spoils. Now, this being classical music, that share is even less than 2 or 3 cents. Usually it's beyond ridiculous. And as we've talked about many times, all I'm doing is promoting their work, so they should be thrilled. I mean, even if I hate it, they should be thrilled to be mentioned. There's no such thing as bad publicity. However, the algorithm doesn't care. It's an algorithm. It doesn't know. And it's particularly screwed up with classical music because everyone's doing the same music. So these gizmos are not sophisticated enough, usually, to recognize individual performances, unless there's something really strange or unusual in terms of timing or something about those performances. So far, in all of the copyright claims that I've gotten, 99% of them have just been erroneous. I have permission, for example, from Naxos to use Naxos material in my videos. I got permission from certain other labels for specific videos when it was possible, and it doesn't make any difference. They've all been misidentified, and so what happens then is that YouTube gives you a copyright claim. If you get 3 of those, you get a strike. 3 strikes, you're out. They close you down. They take off your channel. And I'm very careful about this because I've got thousands of videos, and you just never know. You never know what's going to happen. It's very, very, very frustrating. And sometimes you have to appeal because these people, for 30 days, any income is frozen, and they have 30 days to check it out. And if they release it, they don't release it in 30 days, it gets released automatically. And if they don't want to, then you got to appeal. And then, it's just, absolutely insanely, crazily ridiculous. However, something very interesting happened with one of these recently. I mean, I've been getting all kinds of claims around the holidays. It's another, seems to me, holiday festivity. It's like getting hateful comments. Hateful comments and copyright claims are my holiday season. That's how it's turning out. What can I tell you? So, but something very, very intriguing happened, and it led me to thinking. I got a copyright claim for my alleged misuse. It was from Wagner. My alleged misuse or impermissible use of the prelude to Act 3 of Lohengrin by Daniel Barenboim and the Staatskapelle Dresden. Now, I don't know what I ever would have used that for, but then I took a closer look at the video against which said claim is being pursued. It was my video on the repertoire video, the best recording of Glinka's Ruslan and Ludmila Overture. So there was no Wagner in that video, no Wagner at all. And I had permission to use recordings by Yevgeny Moravinsky, whose recording was on Scribendum, and Carol Anshirl, whose recording was on Superfont. So this is, pretty reasonable stuff. And they were identified as such in the video and in the description, and credit was given, and everything was totally above board. It was Ruslan and Ludmila, not the prelude to Act 3 of Lohengrin, played by Daniel Barenboim. But that got me to thinking, my goodness, could it actually be that the Prelude to Act 3 of Lohengrin really is by Glinka? I mean, I never put those two pieces together. They do have a somewhat similar sound when you think about it, don't they? Ja, 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 with the violins. And then the Wagner, ba-boom, crash, with the violins, you know. It's a possibility. It's a possibility. I don't think anybody's ever claimed that the overture to Ruslan and Ludmila sounded anything like the opening of Act 3 of Lohengrin, or that Glinka sounded particularly like Wagner. But this algorithm, the almighty algorithm, it thought so. And that led me to think, well, what would happen if we took one of these algorithm things and just turned it loose on the world of classical music? Would it decide that Haydn wrote The Rite of Spring? That, I mean, it's incredibly, you know, it's all possible. Bach wrote the New World Symphony? You never know. Could it uncover fabulous hidden relationships? Maybe, you know, reverse satanic messages in Rhapsody in Blue? Or you know, I just am very curious to know what the mythical, artificial, intelligent program things could tell us about our musical legacy if it was given the opportunity to find relationships in everything. It might even, we might learn all kinds of fascinating things, like, you know, pieces in C major all are the same, or there are, you know, sort of these hidden messages, and I don't know. I don't want to get repetitious about it. I'll sound like an algorithm, but it fascinates me, because I was like scratching my head going, how did it come up with Daniel Barenboim in the Staatskapelle Dresden when I was playing Ravinsky in Leningrad doing Glinka? Well, it did. And because it's, you know, infallible and mechanical, it cannot be an error. And, you know, now I have to wait 30 days. I'm very curious to see if Warner actually insists that its algorithm is correct, and I have to appeal it up to a higher authority to determine whether or not Glinka was actually the composer of Lohengrin. So stay tuned. I will let you know what happens, if anything happens. Otherwise, it'll just go away and I can move on with my life. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.